What's the risk of not doing something? Hey everybody, Jim Edwards here, and welcome to another quick Doc Talk with Jim. You know, yesterday I talked about risk versus reward, and one of the thoughts that I had as I was walking back down the dock is we were talking about risk and weighing risk versus the reward of doing something and looking for the hidden rewards that often accompany doing something. But I thought as soon as I was signing off, I said, you know, one of the things we just need to talk about real quick is the risk of not doing something. That's another way to look at it, the old thing of the carrot and the stick. And basically the point that I just want to make is that if you look at something, you look at an opportunity, you look at something that you want to do and you're evaluating the risk versus the reward, the risk isn't just what could go wrong if you do something or what you might lose, but the risk is also what you could lose out on. So that's just something to think about. So for example, if you were going to write a book and you were evaluating the risk of the time and there's not a lot of expense, but if you were looking at the risk of doing it, you also need to look at the risk. What do you risk by not doing it? What do you risk by not writing the book? What do you risk by not getting into shape? What do you risk by not exercising daily? And if you look at it that way, man, the risks far outweigh the rewards, but the risk is something that can really, really hurt you if you don't do it. So it's just another way of doing it. You know, the risk is if you don't write a book, you lose out on the credibility, you lose out on the self-esteem, you lose out on the resume builder, you lose out on the opportunity to build your list and build your tribe and create your manifesto. If you don't work out every day, you risk dying early, you risk, very realistically, you risk just being physically miserable for the rest of your life. So when you're doing your risk reward, when you're reviewing the video from yesterday, when you think about risk, you need to think about the risk of not doing something. What are the penalties? What are the risks? What are the negatives of not doing the thing that you're considering doing? So it's almost like turning a risk into a positive. It turns a risk into something that will motivate you instead of scare you. It's just something to think about. I wanted to share that thought. It's been gnawing at me since yesterday. And so there's several different ways to look at risk versus reward. If you want to just sum it up real quick from today and yesterday's video. The reward is the tangible benefit that you can see that you're going to get. It's the obvious benefit. But then there are also rewards that are hidden that you don't realize, hey, you know, as a result of doing this, I'm also going to get this, and this. It's the same thing with the risk. Most people on the surface think, said my Sylvester, most people on the surface see a risk just as the loss of something on the front end, but that's not the only risk. The risk is the lost opportunity. The risk is the loss of potential gain. So there's not two sides of the coin you're looking at, but it's actually 4 different angles you're looking at risk versus reward. So hey Faith, so everybody have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. This has been another Doc Talk with Jim.